Okay, guys, we've got to talk about the BUGA sphere. That's right, there has been some bombshell new information about the BUGA sphere. Now, a lot of people don't like it when I use the word bombshell, so I use it sparingly, but I think this justifies it. What are we talking about? Well, you see the writing there on the BUGA sphere? Well, Jaime Maussan says his team has been able to decode the writing on the BUGA sphere. So let's talk about it. Get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. And by the way, I highly encourage you to watch the entire video. There's a lot of really great information in here. Here is the AI dub video that Jaime Maussan put out. And here's a section of it where they're talking about this writing, which they say is Proto-Sanskrit. That's right, human language apparently is on this thing. Or, who knows who gave us the language, right? I guess. But here's what they say about it.
And right now, Jamie, exactly that is being done, where the writing begins has been identified. In fact, the symbol is very interesting and is read from right to left, and according to the first characters, the writing has its symbolism, but also its signs of relationship and movement. It seems that the first 4 or 5 symbols speak of a beginning. They speak of something being given to us at that time. They speak of a huge rumble that reached all the way down there, and evidently that there was a great change, and it is followed by a symbol that signifies time or signifies. It is perfectly identified. I think we can relate it by knowing the age of the sphere according to Carbon-11, that at that time there was a great change, a great movement in the world, a complete change in the world. That is why it was necessary to change the period of the PlayStation Licino, and evidently this could be attributed to that great extraordinary event. But it really catches my attention that it apparently mentions that they gave us the who and what. We will have to wait for the interpretation to finish. And there is another point. There is also a point where there is a symbol of a fish. And according to the translation of the Proto-Sanskrit, that fish is identified as Jupiter. And Jupiter and its relationship in that alphabet is associated with water, and evidently water is associated in those symbols with a great movement of water. This, I do not want to imagine, I do not want to interpret further, but the experts will tell us what it is about.
Well, there is a hypothesis, accepted by some, not accepted by others, that tells us about the possible fall of a celestial body, possibly a comet.
Okay, and they get into the Younger Dryas era and the very possible Younger Dryas cataclysm that may have brought about the fall of Atlantis. And they mentioned the dating of this the sphere. What we have so far indicates that it's 12,000 years old, which, again, dates back to the fall of Atlantis, the Younger Dryas era. So was this thing Atlantean technology, or alien technology, maybe beings that were in touch with Atlantis? Who knows? All speculation, but they believe they have decoded the BUGA sphere and that it is in Proto-Sanskrit, and it is seemingly talking about, a great cataclysm involving water. Yeah, are they talking about the Younger Dryas cataclysm? That would be the suggestion, right? That is mind-blowing. Now, they're still decoding it. Their deciphering of it isn't complete, and they say that, it'll be complete at some point in the near future, maybe even within a few days. So I can't wait to see that fully deciphered BUGA sphere, and I look forward, actually, to debunkers and skeptics and others who are, getting in on this, analyzing this, whether they can corroborate if this is Proto-Sanskrit or not. We definitely need to fact check this, and we definitely need as many eyes on this as possible, because this is huge. And you know what? It might just be legit. Remember the BUGA sphere responding to the Hindu mantra?
सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे.
Yeah, and you can see their instruments start to light up as she is singing this Hindu mantra. So it has Proto-Sanskrit on it. It's responding to an Indian mantra, obviously, Sanskrit, Indian. So fascinating connection there. What does that mean? What does that imply? Might that suggest a connection to the Vimanas? The giant Indian, UFOs, palaces, whatever they were, these guys right here that were flying around in the skies back in the day over India, and, who knows, all over the world. These guys right here, were these legit? What were they? Are they UFOs? UFOs seem to be seen differently by different people and in different eras. Back in the 1800s, late 1800s, people were seeing giant zeppelins or giant crazy airships that the beings aboard those ships said they came from other planets. So people were interpreting UFOs through the lens of something they knew was possible, which was hot air balloons, and they were making really fantastic hot air balloons. These zeppelins or whatever. They didn't have zeppelins back then, but they did have air balloons. So they were seeing these really fantastic airships. Who knows if the ships we're seeing now are kind of similar. Are they really, the science fiction alien UFOs, or is that simply how the phenomenon is allowing us to see them because we can understand that concept? Who knows? But maybe that's what they were seeing back in the day because that's what they were geared to see is human-like edifices and palaces and temples and so on flying in the sky. That's something they could relate to is temples and palaces and, human construction. Or who the hell knows? Maybe they were really flying temples and palaces. But who was in them? Was it aliens? Was it other dimensional beings? Was it Atlanteans? What was their connection to the people of ancient India and the broader world? Were they the developers of Proto-Sanskrit and the people that gave that language to humans? Did they give other knowledge as well? A few years ago, I had a Kundalini awakening. And by the way, I take no credit for that. I did not achieve that. That was a gift given to me by my guides or somebody out there. This was definitely a gift. And I've gone over the reasons for that and why I think that in previous videos. I don't think it. I know that it was a gift. I definitely didn't achieve it myself, but it was an amazing, amazing experience. And by the way, this was I don't want to say a real Kundalini awakening because there's various different types of enlightenment modalities. There's, people achieve this, whatever it is in different ways or are given this in various different ways. But I experienced a classic Hindu Kundalini awakening where you have these pulses go up your spine. And you kind of go into seizures. That sounds scary. It was not. Although I have heard there are some people where the energy gets stuck, gets blocked if your chakras aren't all open, and that energy can bounce around and cause some people some real problems. Also, some people, if they don't know what they are experiencing, can totally freak out and go to the ER and, just flip out if they don't know what the hell is happening to them when it's happening. Fortunately, I knew what was happening. I was like, pulses going up my spine. Okay. I'm starting to shake. Oh, am I having a Kundalini awakening? I can't be having a Kundalini awakening. But I was. And it went on for like 5 hours and it was insanely wonderful. And I've talked about that multiple times. And it really lasted for about a week. The event lasted for 5 hours. And then I had, for the rest of the week, I had so much energy, I didn't even need to sleep very much. I had like a couple of, 2-hour naps a day, but I didn't have to sleep at night. I was filled with energy and just feeling great. And I would be, dancing in the kitchen at 4 a.m. It was awesome, awesome, wonderful experience. I never achieved that moment of enlightenment or awakening like where I knew the answers to everything. So I don't consider myself enlightened, even though I did go through this modality of what they call enlightenment. More of, but it was a Kundalini event, let's just say, and it was incredible. So that is, a technique or a knowledge that was, given or developed by the peoples of ancient India, and it is very real. And I have to wonder what else they knew and where they acquired that information. Did the beings in the Vimanas give that to them? Did the beings that created the BUGA sphere give that to them? Are they one and the same? What's going on? I don't know. But the people of ancient India were definitely plugged into some real information. So I am more than fascinated by this idea that the BUGA sphere could be connected to all that. And that makes sense to me. However, we need a lot more corroboration. We need a lot more tests. I want to see people confirm, first of all, the date of the BUGA sphere, and second, that this is Proto-Sanskrit or something like that. But this is just super fascinating, guys. This is amazing stuff. So let me know what you guys think about it and where this investigation will lead next in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support the channel, buy a t-shirt or a coffee mug in the merch store, become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Also, channel members frequently get to see videos like this hours ahead of everybody else. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.